Hello everyone and welcome to Up Supercast, the only podcast here with exclusive world premiere news on the Switch Pro. I'm your host Mina, and joining me today is Brandon.
It's gonna have a 7-inch screen, baby.
Ills.
I was gonna say something about Dr. Seuss, but you fucked me up.
And Saf.
I guess I'll also say something that's unrelated. Like, silver case.
The silver case is coming. We're not going to talk about it, but hey, the silver case is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
That's all. He made you talk about it. Sucker.
Important news first.
Gotcha.
Both games are coming to Switch. What a world.
Hell yeah.
Isn't that exciting? But we are not here to talk about the silver case. We're not here to talk about Suda51. Okay?
Damn.
Sorry, Suda. We are here to talk about the Switch Pro, Switch Plus, whatever you want to call it. We don't know what it's called, but Bloomberg has a pretty decent idea about what it is. Mm-hmm. So Takashi Mochizuki of the previously of the Wall Street Journal, now of Bloomberg, I guess. I think he just freelances, but
so these are rumors. Want to get that out of the way, right?
Yeah, I was getting there, Brandon.
Okay. Well, I wanted to just say these are Switch Pro. Switch Pro rumors.
Switch Pro.
Well, we have a jingle for Switch Pro rumors, apparently. Well, Takashi Mochizuki wrote for Bloomberg, and he didn't give too many details, but the details he did give are pretty interesting, I would say. Looks like it's slated to launch sometime this holiday, whether it's September or November, I don't know, but sometime this year, seemingly.
So soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. Also, though, I guess the big news here, 7-inch OLED display. So the current Nintendo Switch has a 6.2-inch LCD screen, right? Mm-hmm. So this would be a sizable upgrade. Both the type of screen, OLED is a big jump, right? Yep. From LCD screens. And it's bigger. We don't know if that means the whole body is bigger or if they're just slimming down the bezels but using the same base. We don't know any of that. I would assume it's the latter. Yeah, I would assume that they're just slimming down the bezels.
Yeah, to keep continuity and make it like fit with the same dock, probably.
Yeah, same dock, same Joy-Cons, you know. You don't want to lose compatibility with all that shit, right?
Absolutely,
But yeah, I would say this is a surprise for a couple of reasons. I mean, I don't know if anyone was expecting a bump in screen resolution. I personally was not, but it is 720p. But I think the interesting thing is OLED, right? This seems like a kind of upgrade that Nintendo usually wouldn't go for. It feels, top of the line display over here.
Produced by. Did you say it was Samsung, or did I read that?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that yet. But yeah, it is produced by Samsung. Apparently, Samsung has had a surplus of these 7-inch 720p OLEDs that I guess Nintendo struck a good deal on. They mention that in the article, in the Bloomberg article, it does mention that the reason they went for this screen is because there was a surplus because this is I forget what they call it. I think like a static or basically, it doesn't use the flexible type of OLEDs that you see in a lot of Android and iPhone phones, I guess, displays, because those like wrap around, so that way they have literally no bezel, right? Like if you've seen a modern iPhone or Android phone, they have edge-to-edge screens, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Nintendo has no need for that. They don't need a flexible OLED, right?
They call it rigid OLED.
Rigid, there we go. That was the word. Rigid OLED displays apparently have been just dropping in price because no one cares about them anymore. So that's cool. OLED. It'll be nice to have a nicer screen on this thing, right? Nicer,
reminds me
bigger
of the Vita Remaster. There you go from like LCD to OLED to.
The Vita actually went the inverse. Right. So the Vita was OLED, top of the line, 2011, 2012, and then for the revision they went cheaper, right? Yeah. I would assume because this is OLED, this would imply, and from everything, from what else I'm about to say about it, apparently 720p may be the handheld display, but the TV mode display is getting a big upgrade. It is apparently going to support 4K games. So that's a big upgrade from what we have now, right?
Yep.
Incredible.
So this is clearly like a more premium version of the Switch, right? This is not just a budget replacement, or like a slimmer thing. This is a pro system, right?
Yeah.
No matter what they call it.
Will they?
I think. Yeah, go on.
Well, so the next question I was going to say, I didn't want to interrupt you, sorry, but the next question I wanted to ask was like, are they going to treat this like they treat like other iterations, like the DS to DSi, or like 3DS to new 3DS? Like, are they going to say that they're going to? Is this the point where it's going to start developing games that are only powerful enough or can only work with a console of this power? Is this probably going to be the situation right now? I mean, it's certainly possible. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Like, do you guys think this thing's going to get exclusive games? Because, I think I would say, though, that the situation is a little different from those, though. Only because and even then, like, the DSi and the New 3DS didn't have many exclusives, right? They had a couple. New 3DS at retail literally only had 2, right? It was Xenoblade and Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And Smash Brothers, was it not?
No, Smash Bros. Was definitely not exclusive.
No.
To the New 3DS. Hell no.
It ran better, but...
Okay.
It was not exclusive.
Not even it ran... No, it didn't run better. It was just that you could access the home menu, and you couldn't on the old 3DS, which is
I'm pretty sure the loading times, at least when you...
I'm sure, like, the loading times... Yeah, but the Nintendo Switch right now has 80 million units sold, right? By the end of the year, probably going to be 100 million units, right? Just from the base Switch, right? I don't think many folks, especially Nintendo, but even on third parties, I don't know if many want to give up that immensely huge install base, right?
Yeah.
That's not just something you give up for, otherwise why are you developing a system in a lot of ways, right? I'm sure we'll see some exclusives.
I mean,
right?
my thought was that like maybe some ports will require it or something, but
yeah, absolutely, right? We could get some games that literally cannot run on the base Switch, right? That are on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know, like a Red Dead Redemption 2 or like a Resident Evil 7. I don't know, right?
Yeah, and they won't have to do the cloud version of it for it to run on there.
Yeah. And I think, I think it's funny you bring up cloud versions. That could be a way to make sure that the base system gets it too, right? Mm-hmm. Is, okay, well, this runs on the Switch Pro. It literally cannot run on the base Switch, but we'll give you a cloud version, right? Like what we saw with Hitman and Control recently, right? Mm-hmm. So there is maybe more flexible room to do these kind of exclusives because of cloud stuff and whatnot. Who knows? I guess some other quick little details besides 4K graphics and that OLED display and the holiday release. It is probably it seems like that they are gearing up to start manufacturing this thing in July. And they are trying to manufacture roughly 1 million units per month. So I don't know if that necessarily points to a specific month. Definitely sometime this year, I guess, right? Or at least this fiscal year at the bare minimum, right? I guess the other conversation I wanted to have about this: do you think this is just replacing the Switch, or do you think that this is gonna be a new on top of, are we going above 300 for this? Are we keeping 300 and bumping down the price of the old one? Are we going to 300 and just getting rid of the old one? What do you think?
I think it depends on the cost, the manufacturing costs. I think that'll have, I think that'll weigh into Nintendo's decision on what to do, right? Because if it costs too much, if it doesn't cost that much, they're probably willing to, do it for 300 and then maybe bump the Switch down to 200, 250 or something like that, But,
so gut feeling right now, what price point do you think they set this thing at?
I would say max 350.
Okay.
I don't think they go above that.
What price? What price?
Yeah, that sounds like where I wanted to say.
Okay.
Like around 350s.
The Switch was 250, 300, right?
No, Switch is 300.
We're
talking about US dollars, Sapphire.
Was 300 and still is 300.
It still is 300. 4 years later, they've not cut down the price, right?
God. Okay, yeah, then 350 for this one.
I'm kind of hoping they just like
think
phase out the regular Switch and just make this the regular Switch.
That's my theory. I think that this thing will hit 300. I think they will just phase out the old one. Maybe they do price cuts on the old one to
get rid of the stock.
Right, but I think that this is gonna become like the main Switch. So we'll have the Pro and we'll have the Lite and nothing in between.
Right? Yeah, I mean they pretty much did that with the DS in the 3DS revisions, right?
Yeah.
DS Lite came out and they didn't make the old DS anymore, So
and same for the new 3DS. When the new 3DS came out,
the 3DS XL completely destroyed.
Yeah, they were just done with that, right?
Right.
But maybe with how ridiculous Switch hardware prices are, I mean sales are, maybe they feel they can justify 3 models, and there's enough crazy people to buy it for a more expensive price, like all of us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to buy it.
I absolutely will buy it.
Do you think we will see the sort of pre-order madness that we've been seeing for everything else?
Yes. And it's going to suck.
I don't know. Maybe not.
No, I would say so. I would say so.
I'm pessimistic as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be bad.
It's going to suck real bad. I mean, we've gone through it, right? We've all gone through it. I mean, we know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
But at least we're prepared,
Yeah,
because we have the battle scars, right, of the PS5. And
this is like the next iteration of Switch. People are just going to jump on that quickly, like super fucking quickly.
Well, the Switch was easy to get because
no one had faith in it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, the Wii U sucked. Nobody cares about Nintendo anymore, blah, blah, blah. It was easy, right? Yeah. I mean, I pre-ordered it. No problem. Was able to get it day one. Easy peasy. Like, this is not going to be the same case this time around.
Absolutely not.
The Switch is a popular system. But we'll see. And then my final question about the Switch Pro. Does this in any way raise your estimation of Breath of the Wild 2 releasing this year?
Yeah, I think it might release with this.
Yeah. I think that would be a very solid way to sell the new hardware.
I agree. Yeah, I really feel like these two things are going to come out in tandem, right? Nintendo historically always likes to have a launch game even with revisions, right? Even for dumb revisions like the new 2DS XL, they like to have launch games of some kind, right? I think that this being a pro revision, you definitely want to target a more like core, I guess, demographic, right? And I think there's no better game to do that.
Gamers.
Breath of the Wild 2 is just the perfect game for that, right? It really is. Mm-hmm. So maybe hopefully we'll hear about that soon. Well, who knows?
E3. Or E3, whatever you call the time frame. That's not really E3, but
June, I guess. Let's just say June. I guess one last question on this. What do you think the gap is between announcement and release on this thing?
Announce E3 release holiday.
Well, if you're expecting it to launch alongside Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild.
When would you expect? October?
I mean, they could talk about Breath of the Wild 2 before they're ready to talk about the Pro, though, even if they launch together, right?
October. So 4 months?
Are you expecting Breath of the Wild to come? Okay. So you expect it to
come? See, because I'm personally expecting, like, a quick turnaround. Like, they just shadow drop it on YouTube one day, it's out, like, in 6 weeks, you know?
What? The console?
Yeah, genuinely, that's what I think.
That would be bad. That'd be Sega Saturn stupid, you know?
No, I mean, the new 3DS was only 4 weeks before it came out, right? The Switch Lite was about 6 weeks, more or less.
The 3DS, I mean, nobody give a fuck about that.
That's going
to be a disaster. How are we going to pre-order that shit in, like, 2 weeks?
I mean, Sega Saturn is a different kind of disaster. It'll be a disaster for us, because it'll be harder for us to get it, but I don't think sales-wise... I think, if anything, nowadays it's better to announce closer to release, right?
Yeah.
I mean... I just think that the Switch is selling too much for them to want to be like, hey, don't buy this thing, wait for the better thing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about like how they distribute the games itself, but I assume you're going under the impression that they have the time and the resources to be able to like ship them out in the middle of a near the end of a pandemic, quick enough to be able to like produce them and sell them.
I mean, just because they're producing them doesn't mean we have to know about them, right? Like they could be producing them from July onwards, but if it's launching in like November, I don't think there's any reason for us to hear about it till like October, quite frankly. But we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll certainly see.
That's not all the news though. So this news is from last week actually. Will screwed me up. I brought it up. I was like, I want to talk about this, and he said, no, this isn't worth talking about. I think it's worth talking about. So, we had that state of play last week, and we talked a little bit about that, right? But that was not the only Sony news of the week, believe it or not. Jim Ryan did an interview, and he actually talked about way more stuff than you would expect from a freaking interview. You would expect these kind of things from a press release, perhaps, but no. Jim Ryan just lets it out in an interview. So I think the biggest news from this was the PlayStation VR 2. It doesn't have an official name, but a new PlayStation VR is coming. It's not coming this year. We will hear about it this year, but it is not coming this year. And we have a few details about it. We know that it's going to be a single cable setup, so no processor box, no multiple cables to plug in here and there and wherever. Just a single from the headset to the system, one plug. Presumably that USB-C port, right? That's on the front of the PlayStation 5. So one cable setup. We know it's going to have better refresh rate, better... it's just going to be a better display all around, right? Better display, better tracking. It's just going to be a better system. And I think, personally, what I think is the most interesting part of this, they're refreshing the Move controllers. So I don't even know if they're going to be called Move controllers, but we are getting new motion controllers that are going to have features that you find in the DualSense, right? So that's like the
rumble, the adaptive triggers.
Yeah, exactly. The all that stuff, right, is going to be in those new motion controls, which I'm happy because the moves suck, right? They're very outdated. I mean, these are 2009 tech, right?
You think they're going to make them more like an Oculus controller or something like that?
Yeah, with finger tracking.
I mean, that's where VR is at right now, right? Is finger tracking is what it's all about, right? And it just helps for immersion, right? So I hope that that's the direction that they're going in. I don't know for sure if they will, but I certainly hope that that's the case.
Yeah. No, I might jump on it this time around. I didn't get the PSVR before, but I think I'm willing to do it now.
Yeah. This is the time. I think it's safe to assume that some sort of Astrobot game will launch with it. Maybe.
I hope so.
I will pick that shit up in a heartbeat if that's the case.
Astrobot's a great game, you know.
100%.
If Astrobot is there, I'm gonna pick this up without a doubt.
So it'll most likely have backwards compatibility with PS4.
I'm actually not sure about that, to be honest, because the original PlayStation VR used the camera a lot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this thing is going to need a camera because, you know, VR headsets have advanced in a way where a lot of them have like inside-out track. I don't remember the exact terms, but they track without an external camera necessarily, right?
Yeah.
At least the Oculus ones do. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be completely backwards compatible with the older stuff.
Kind of a shame for it to be all lost on the last system, you know?
Yeah. It would.
In fact, they just announced, it was like 2 days ago on Twitter, they were just like, hey, look at all this like PSVR announcements, like for the current one. They announced like 5 games. It was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did that either yesterday or today, like just earlier, yeah. And they announced a bunch of new PSVR games, and it's like, oh man, wouldn't that suck if those don't work with PSVR 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You gotta literally this is gonna be backwards compatible.
I would hope, but I'm not like for sure. You know.
I mostly hope it is so I can play Astrobot. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Rescue Mission is worth the play for sure. That's kind of all the details we have about that PSVR. But that's not the only stuff that those are not the only bombs he dropped. Gran Turismo 7. If you were hoping for this to release this year, it's not. It's delayed next year.
But oh well.
Not coming out. I mean, to be fair, Polyphony has a penchant for delays. Right? Gran Turismo games historically get delayed. This time they had the excuse of COVID, though, and that is what they said. They said that because of, lockdown and just general COVID-related woes, they had to delay the game to next year. So,
shame.
No Gran Turismo this year. And then finally, I don't know if you remember last year, Horizon came to PC, and they haven't said anything about their PC stuff since then, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? They're still doing that. That was not a one-off thing. They said that they're going to have a whole slate of games coming this year, starting with Days Gone coming this spring.
Oh, yeah.
Why they are prioritizing Days Gone?
Yeah.
So the theory seems to be because it's Unreal Engine, it's just the easiest game to port, I guess.
Mm.
And also, I guess zombie games really do well on PC. I guess.
And I guess they still want to make some money out of it.
Really confident.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want Days Gone.
Was Days Gone even a commercial success?
Yeah, it was actually. It was a commercial success. Yeah.
So maybe you can finish it.
Maybe I'll be able to finish it. Yeah, 100%.
And maybe it'll be less buggy on PC, or maybe it'll be more if Horizon's any indication.
Yeah. Well, at least they'll patch it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point they'll patch it. But yeah, so PlayStation games, they're good. They're going still full steam ahead with PC. So look forward to that, I guess. Anyway, we have one last piece of news to talk about, unless someone else brings something up afterwards. But Epic Games has acquired Mediatonic. Or Tonic Games, I guess I should say. Who are these people? They are the makers of Fall Guys. So Fall Guys is getting eaten up by Epic. What does this mean for Fall Guys? Well, they straight up said in the blog post about this acquisition that just like Rocket League and Fortnite, which are both owned by Epic, right?
Yep.
Rocket League, in fact, was similar to this, where they bought it out. They are hoping to implement some sort of account system, some sort of cross-play. I imagine that they're going to just use Epic accounts, right? Duh.
Probably.
Right? Cross-play, it just seems like a no-brainer for this type of game. I'm hoping cross-progression. They didn't say that yet, but, both Rocket League and Fortnite have cross-progression. So, I would hope that's the case. And then they did touch on free-to-play, and by touch I mean they said we have no comment on this time. Which to me kind of says we're going to go free-to-play eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope so.
Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah,
that would make a lot more sense.
I wouldn't be surprised. Also, my biggest fear is if they go to free-to-play, them doing like a paid season like pass. Because right now, like Fall Guys has seasons. They're about to be in season 4. And they have similar to Fortnite and stuff with like the battle pass, but you don't pay for it, right? You just level up and unlock stuff as you cosmetic things and in currency as you play the game. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to have to like purchase like a battle pass each season, especially since I already purchased the game. And if people are going to be free to play, and then you have to, it would be kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's already you don't have to.
I mean, I would hope that they don't shake anything up about things that players are already used to, right?
Yeah.
But I imagine if it goes free to play, they will find new ways to monetize it for sure, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully
there's a little bit in there already. You can purchase like more of the
coins. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like some costumes that are only paid, right?
Yeah.
Actually there are DLC ones. So yeah, you could just do a cosmetic stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for the idea of Fall Guys being crossplay. That's great.
I mean, if it goes free to play, it's coming to Switch, right? We know that for a fact, and Xbox.
And Xbox.
I would love to play on my Switch with other people who do not want to play on their Switch.
I would play it on my Switch if it has cross save. Or play it on Xbox or whatever I was feeling at the time. So, I hope it has cross save, cross play, all that stuff. That'd be awesome. I'd be very excited. And I think this is stuff they wanted to implement for a while. been mentioning like an account system for Fall Guys.
But Epic for sure has the infrastructure to do all of that, right?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So to me, that stuff is just kind of like a no-brainer. It's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's exciting for them because they're indie developer, and they had, I think like 35 people who originally worked on Fall Guys. Now they have over like 100, I think, because of how much it blew up.
Yeah.
But, it's exciting for them, and they also made one of my favorite games last year, Murder by Numbers. So it's...
I kind of hope that their projects that like Murder by Numbers don't die, and that they don't they're not just a fucking.
I don't think so because
Fall Guys company.
I hope that I don't think they'll just become just the Fall Guy factory because I follow some of the people who worked on Murder by Numbers and they're not directly working on Fall Guys or didn't have any involvement on it. So there's other people who work for Mediatonic that are doing other things. So I think they'll continue to do other stuff.
Fingers crossed, because that was my biggest fear. Because I care a lot about that fucking game, Murder's My Number, and I hope that still survives in this.
Yeah, that's a very cool game, and so we'll see. I don't know what this means for them to join Epic besides like that account system stuff like I was mentioning, but and probably going free to play, but we'll see. Also, they didn't say anything yet, about this, but if Rocket League's an indication, they will probably delist the Steam version.
I think I read somewhere that they're not going to.
Yeah, they said nothing to announce yet, but
down the line.
That definitely leaves them down the line to be able to do that, and I feel like that's an inevitability, to be honest.
I mean, if you own the Steam version, it would still get updates and you can still play the Steam version.
Yeah, like Rocket League, if you bought it on Steam back when it was for purchase, it still gets updated. It's still the current version, right?
Yeah.
It's just that new people can no longer buy it. And I feel like Fall Guys will probably just end up with the same thing. But
yeah,
who knows? Anyway, that's the news. Unless speak now or forever hold your peace, I guess.
What other news happened this week?
What happened today?
Recall.
What happened today?
New game plus Expo.
There was a New Game Plus Expo.
Pyro and Mithra or what?
Yeah.
I guess so. Pyro and Mithra are out. Is that news though? Like, no, genuinely. Like, we talked about Pyro and Mithra. Like, so like we saw the gameplay.
More about it.
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The floor is yours.
They released some more Mii costumes.
Monster Hunter. So if you were hoping for Monster Hunter, your dreams are dead. Sorry.
Good.
And you got a feline costume, which is pretty cool.
Sir Arthur showed up too.
Yeah.
From Ghosts and Goblins.
Yep. That's it.
It did talk a little bit about the characters themselves, which is kind of interesting in that, one, they've made a simplified version of Sheik and Zelda, which is interesting, and two, they talked a little bit more about how much of a nightmare ice climbers are to program into this fucking game, which is kind of funny, in that it just causes a lot of problems for the game, and they have to cut content or cut stuff out because of how complicated ice climbers are, which I found hilarious.
I enjoyed the little nuggets of like development hell that Sakurai likes to throw in there.
Right? I love it so much.
I'm just like, hey, I worked really hard for this, okay? Right? You just don't understand.
Every single one of these presentations, we learn more about things about Sakurai, and not only his development style and little things about the game. I feel like we learn more about him as a person every time, and I absolutely love him so much.
We learned that he buys figurines to look at their feet.
He buys figures, and he even was like, I have the next DLC figures that aren't released yet, but they're locked in my desk.
Someone's gonna go try to.
Somebody's gonna break in.
Someone's gonna go break in now that you said that. Guaranteed.
And just find that shit. Yeah. It's fucking. Yeah, this was. Sorry.
This shit's gonna be Mission Impossible, coming down from the ceiling to get into his desk.
Oh God Almighty! Yeah. There's also, I like that they're actually incorporating stuff from the Torna expansion as well into this. was like a couple of movements. Like one of our moves that like actually references Torna, and like a few songs just come through.
Chroma Dust.
Yeah, Chromo Dust. Yeah, one of the old upbeats. Which is pretty.
Or you just hold it and it does more blasts than normal.
Yeah, it's basically fanship blast. Yeah, and also like some of the music from Torna as well, which is nice. Like I love some of the jazzier tracks that Torna had. That the expansion had. So,
it does have really good remixes, especially the Gormat one. I'm sad that they didn't have songs from Tantal. Those are my favorite songs in the game.
I'm sad that they didn't have anything from Xenoblade X.
Well, Xenoblade X. You know, they didn't even get a Mii costume. That's
not even canon.
Not even a Mii costume.
Canon.
Nothing.
No, it is.
It's absolutely nothing.
No, it is part of the canon.
Part of the canon.
No, it's not even. It's dead. It's gone. Goodbye. We're putting it in the trash. You know. All right. Well, that was the Smash thing. That's out tonight as of this recording. It'll be out by the time you hear this. Yeah. All right. Well, that's the news. But we always have one last thing to do before we sign off, and that is the list.
The list.
So last week, Saf added something or the other.
Something or the other.
I remember
Final
it was
Fantasy
Saf.
VII Crisis Core.
Yeah, Crisis Core. What a pick. What a pick, Saf. And where did it end up?
Very shocking.
It ended up somewhere in the 60s. It wasn't in the 60s,
no,
was it?
120.
No way.
120. Yeah.
121.
60s.
It's 121. Well, this week it's my turn, you see. It's my turn. And to be honest, I really want to pick Wind Waker.
I feel as though this entire day was just you out to get Will. You managed to talk about games that he didn't want to talk about, like fucking... what was the news in the beginning?
PSVR 2.
VR 2, Switch Pro, and now you're just going to end it just attacking Will with the Wind Waker.
I guess. No, I won't do that, though. I want to, but I won't.
Make it the theme of the podcast, attack Will.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Saf speaking from the place of spite because he's been
I'm so heated about Xenoblade 2. Like, all my picks were unintentional. Like, I always wanted to pick Wind Waker, but I chose not to actually pick up other stuff. And it was just unintentional that the other options were things that we'll want to talk about. He just straight up targeted me with fucking Xenoblade 2. Like,
yeah, he was like, fuck Saf, you know? Yeah, it was nasty.
Call him out.
But we're not going to stoop to that guy's level, you know?
Absolutely.
We're better than that.
Are we?
No.
Yeah, we no, in the tier list, we are above. On the list ranking the members... Okay. Will's at the bottom.
Yeah, when it comes to the list, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. But today, we're talking about Xenoblade. We're talking a lot about Xenoblade. Let's add Torna. Let's just add Torna. Why not? You know?
Oh my god.
Okay.
Let's do
so, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna.
Complete
this
series.
is
Go for it.
Yeah, well, we will have the whole Xenoblade series at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is an expansion to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right?
A standalone.
But I was saying, normally we like to talk about expansions and talk about we include it in the game when we can, but this one is it's standalone and it's so unique. It's so fully fleshed out, right? Mm-hmm. That it deserves to be talked about in its own right, I think. Mm-hmm. This is a much shorter game than these other Xenoblade games. And it has a price point to justify that, right? It is a shorter game, it's a smaller game. It's a less expensive game. Mm-hmm. But I actually liked that it was short, you know? I still was... I felt good by the end of it, you know? Maybe not good because of where the story goes, but I thought that...
Sorry.
It justified its time with it, right?
I mean, the story set out to do something very specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be tragic, and I'm sad that it didn't make me feel worse.
Yeah, that's fair. It didn't. So I guess it didn't. And maybe it didn't achieve its one goal, but in that, it still was very interesting. For one, it changes the battle system of Xenoblade 2, right? It's very different. It is very different. So it takes the base of it, But now you are controlling both the blade and the driver.
2 blades and 1 driver.
2 blades and 1 driver, and you swap between them freely, basically, right?
Yeah. And they all fight by themselves, basically. But like,
yes,
I mean the blade in the back has like support. The blades in the back support you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so like this change makes the battles like the pace of battles is much faster.
Yeah.
Right. You're constantly going through driver combos. Right. It's easier to hit even the blade. You're racking up big numbers very quickly.
Yeah. And you have to switch whenever you switch between the blades, they do like a special attack.
Yeah.
Like even switching is an attack, so that makes a combo happen basically.
Yeah.
It is much more action focused, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And a lot of it comes down to like how simplified they made it. Like they made it so much more easier to grasp, and as a result, it just makes it so much quicker to like understand what needs to be done, and also just be able to like build upon that and just make it easier for people to like do more complex shit, which is fantastic for this game. Like this is one thing that Xenoblade kind of needed for the series because like the combat system is historically quite complex and quite hard to grasp.
I think it's a good update to the Xenoblade 2 combat, but I don't think it like replaces it. I like both of them separately for their own.
Right. It's not like a strict upgrade, right?
Yeah.
It's more of I guess a step sideways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Like I enjoy. I like that it was going for something different. I like that it was going for something more snappy, right?
Yeah, I played Xenoblade for like 100 hours. Like I don't need to play the same combat over again.
Exactly. Yeah. I really like the characters in this little. Story.
I mean, the fun thing about this game is that in Xenoblade 2, you hear a lot about Laura. When this game, you actually get to meet her, like really get to see what she's like, and she's a great character. She's way better than like pretty much every other character.
Yeah.
This is the reason why she's such a focal point in Jin's life in Xenoblade 2. It's because she's so fucking good.
Indeed.
You completely understand Jin's motivation in Xenoblade 2 playing this game.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And I also like what they've done with like the other characters, the returning characters, like their depictions in the past. And how different they were and how differently they interact with each other. That was really, really fun to see. And one character, which is kind of a spoiler, so I won't mention that one. But like with Mithra and what's our other name?
Adam.
One
Adam.
Well, no, not that. Bridget.
Bridget?
The blue one.
Yep.
Yeah. Like seeing them interact with each other, like and how differently they interact with each other in the past compared to the first game, which is set in the future, which is not that complex. But set in the future is just fascinating and fun because like they're more hostile and more aggressive towards each other.
But their drivers are a lot friendlier. Like Adam and Hugo are like best friends.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is fun. Which isn't.
It's interesting.
I really like all the main characters of this game. Adam, Hugo, and Laura are like all really endearing in their own way. Like they're you can tell that they have a great dynamic between them. And that's reinforced by like the camping systems and stuff like that. You see these characters spend time together.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I really like this party that they gave us in Torna, both the drivers and the blades, right? Also blades wise, I thought both for a narrative purpose and honestly gameplay wise too. I like that we just had set blades for these characters, to be honest.
Yes.
To me, it really further reinforces how much I dislike the gacha system in the original game, to be real with you.
I mean, it doesn't make me dislike. I prefer this for sure. Because, I mean, you could write a story around these blades.
Yeah, narratively for sure.
As opposed to random selection.
You feel a stronger connection with these blades because they're actual they get to be actual characters, right?
Yeah, because they have to be part of the story.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that. I want to talk about the most controversial part about the game, I guess, right? And that is at certain segments. There's 2 segments in the game where it will not let you progress unless you do enough side quests.
Oh yeah, that one.
It brings back the community thing from like Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade X, where like you get to see how these well, it brings it back in like sort of a pared down way, but in this game it makes you use it.
Yes. I mean, personally, I liked it. I know why people hate it because it is a pace breaker, right? You can't just go from beginning to end and have the story keep progressing, right? You have to stop and help the community out, right? Mm-hmm. I found the side quests really interesting though in this game, and I did most of them anyway. So whenever I got to those checks, I only had to do one more basically, because I did literally every side quest, right?
Yeah.
Without even knowing that I had to, you know. And I'm not someone who generally cares for side quests that much, right? Mm-hmm. I found these very endearing. I liked all the side characters that they introduced. I thought that the side quests were engaging. Like I had a lot of fun with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I will say the environments, Torna and Gormat, are really good looking. Like they're better looking than they are.
Oh yeah, I mean the engine improvements from 2 to Torna are very big, right? Just graphically, right? Mm-hmm. It just looks it looks really just so much better, especially in handheld mode, right? Where the original game is notorious for kind of
it looked like jagged. It looked like it had bad textures.
Yeah, but they really make an improvement to the graphics in this game, and it looks very pleasant, very pleasant. I thought Torna and Gormat. I thought the changes to Gormat were interesting, right? I thought I mean, the music, the new music is definitely very nice. You know, overall, I really like this package. Like, I really came to the end of this package. And, like, I mean, that was great, right? And it does a great thing where I enjoyed it, and I feel like it kind of enhanced my enjoyment of the original game too. To be honest, I think they're a good complementary package. You know? Yeah,
but I mean, I will say this again. I mean, they had a goal here, and I feel like they missed the mark. Like, the goal is to really knuckle down on the fucking tragedy that happened with Laura and Jin, to really see why he was propelled to the lengths he was propelled to in 2. And they do not show, like, the end moments of their relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it just cuts away. And I don't understand it. Like, this is the whole point of the package. It was so disappointing to me.
I get. Yeah, that's totally fair. Like, I don't even have any comeback to that. Like, that's a fair complaint. But everything up until that point, I thought was great.
Yeah. I love the journey. I love the characters.
So where do we put this? So this is a weird game because it's like it is very dependent on like the contents of the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could still enjoy it without playing the original.
Yeah. You probably. I don't know. I don't know if other people see it being shorter as a negative. I personally liked it. I don't need it. Like, I think it's nice to have a short JRPG. In fact, like it's nice that you can still have a sense of progression in JRPG without being 100 hours long, right? And
look at my picks on the Game Club.
Yeah, exactly. So I enjoyed it being a smaller, just slimmer package all around. Where do I want to put it though? I mean, I would say lower than Xenoblade 2. I just don't know how much lower.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question to you. How do you compare to Xenoblade 2? But you've already answered it. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I like this more than Xenoblade 2. But I feel... I like Torna more than Xenoblade 2, personally.
Right.
But I don't know if, like... I don't know if I'm being fair to Xenoblade 2 if I put this above. I don't know. I think there's just this weird part of me that's like, does that make sense? Like,
to be honest with you, I would have disagreed with you in terms of it. Like, I enjoy Xenoblade 2 Torna more than Xenoblade 2 because it's just it's simpler to understand in terms of like the package itself. It's much more. The characters are a lot more consistently good, and the writing is. Apart from the only issue that we have with the writing is just kind of the end where they just kind of drag it on just for an unnecessary reason. But like I like this as an overall package more than I liked Xenoblade 2. Like everything about it was just really good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I feel like Xenoblade 2, like I said when we were ranking Xenoblade 2, it has its hiccups, like especially in the beginning, at the end, and at the end. Even though I love the ending, like getting to the end, there's like it feels incomplete, and that's because of Torna, because Torna was supposed to be a part of that. But also at the beginning, like it doesn't capture you right away. Like when you're going through Gorma and Uriah, the first two Titans, they're not good. Like they're not good.
It's
They're
a very
fucking
slow start. It's
Yeah, Uriah is a confusing fucking mess. And even when you get to Mor Ardain, that place is a fucking mess. Like, holy shit, it's bad.
Like,
But, I mean, once you get past that, that's when I think it really opens up and really shines.
So I think, okay, do you think one game had higher highs over the other? I think Xenoblade 2 definitely has lower lows, but just by nature being longer, but...
I think Xenoblade 2 had lower lows and higher highs.
Right.
But I think Torna's more consistently good.
So I think we're all kind of we like Torna more, right?
Right.
My only hang up, because I like Torna more than I like the base game, but like how much do I fault Torna for like it can't do what it does without Xenoblade 2, if that makes sense. Maybe that's not even fair to even factor
I wouldn't
in.
evaluate it like that.
Right, okay. That's fair enough. Okay, well, in that case, yeah, I just liked Torna more.
Okay.
I would put it like right above 2. I just put them right together.
Do you want to like explore that a little bit more? Because I didn't really get what you meant by it relies too much on Xenoblade 2.
Well, like, I mean, Torna can only exist because Xenoblade 2 is thing, right? And like I feel like the reason I liked it so much is because it gave me a new light on all these characters I already loved, right? It introduced me to new aspects of that original world that Xenoblade 2 introduced me in, right?
Okay. Right, okay, so that's your situation. You don't know like how much you would have loved it by itself, or how much of your love of it relied on your knowledge of Xenoblade. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, even then, like, I feel still like it stands, like the content that they have and the characters that they had, like, stands out by itself. I feel so like I can introduce them to Torna first, and they would actually enjoy it as a package by itself. And then,
Monolith Soft has said we designed Torna to be played in any order, right?
Yeah. I mean,
first or second.
If you played Chronicles 2 like I did, and you expect that ending to be powerful, and you go to Torna and you're disappointed, you won't have that reaction if you do the reverse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you do Torna first, you won't be disappointed.
I would honestly,
by the end.
I would be fascinated to see or look at it as someone experienced those two games in reverse to see what the reaction is, because that would be really cool myself to see how they feel about these games played in a different order than they would be like just Xenoblade 2 first and then Torna second.
Yeah,
100%. But I
didn't play Suikoden 2, but I'm good at putting it right above. Like,
yeah, I would agree with Ills. I would put it above 2 itself, and I'm sure Will would also agree with us.
Will hasn't played Torna.
He has not. What a fucking disgrace!
No.
And he had the audacity to rank.
He had the audacity to rank Xenoblade 2.
I agree, Seth. I wholeheartedly agree. Well, I think we're settled then.
I have no problems with Will.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is going right above. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna is going the Golden Country.
The Golden Country.
Yeah. Is going right above Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I went needlessly aggressive against Will there.
He deserves it. So, surrounding it, we have Cuphead and Suikoden at 32-33, and then below it, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Donkey Kong Country 2, 34-35. Or I guess 35-36, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. That's the list. That is the podcast. Brandon, you want to plug? And take us do the whole closing, Brandon. It's all yours.
Okay, all right. If that's the last thing you ever want to say, that's going to be a mistake. But hey, thanks for listening to the Jump Up Supercast. By the way, if you really enjoyed the podcast, make sure you check us out on your favorite podcast listening service of your choice. SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and other podcatchers, where new episodes go up of this show every single Monday. And we have another show called the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, where new episodes go up every other Thursday. This past Thursday, we just uploaded an episode for the game Barkley, Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. And not this week, but the following week, we are going to upload an episode about the return of the Obra Dinn. So we got plenty of games that we have played already on the Game Club. Make sure you check out the playlist to see all the games that we played. And if you want to give us a follow, a like, or a share, feel free to let us know what or let us know what you thought about what you think about the Switch Pro. Let us know where you would have ranked Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, Golden Country, whatever the fuck it's called, Golden Corral, down in the comments below. And if you want to support the podcast, we actually have a Patreon where for $1 a month you get the chance to choose one of our Game Club games every round. We do a raffle. Barkley, Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, by the way, was one of those games that we raffled off to our Patreon supporters. And you also get a chance, not a chance, but you also can join our Discord, and talk to us about games and stuff we talk about. I'm always posting Game Club game references and stuff. You can talk to us about video games, whatever you want, in the Discord or in the comments, like I said earlier. Or if you want to hit us up on social media, you can do that on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, where we also post when the episodes go live. So if you want to know and stay in the know on when the episodes are up, make sure you do that. And you can watch us stream video games on twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast, where we play a bunch of video games on there. So make sure you check us out. Give us a follow. Come play games and hang out. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I guess I will do the final phrase. Haven't really had a lot of time to think about it because I've been doing the plugs, and I was just not thinking at all when these guys were talking about Torna. So I was off in my own world. But, I will say that 2021, there's a lot of really cool games coming out this year. But one game that I think that I'm looking forward to a lot, and I hope it comes out this year. And if not, then oh well. But it should be on your radar, and it's called Eastward. It got shown off at a Nintendo Indie World presentation, I think last year. And it was either last year or the year before. It's been a while since the game got revealed, and it just looks really, really cool. I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's called Eastward. So go look that game up. Check it out. There's a demo available for it as well that you can play. Not on the Switch, but you can play it, I think, on Steam or just online. So if you just look it up, if you're interested, check it out. Support indie developers. Indie games are fucking awesome. And everybody just have a good night. Play video games. Be nice to each other. Bye.